Hey, g'day YouTube, how are ya? Isky here. Look what I found. Yesterday, I picked up 3 of these Electrolux dryers. This one here is a 6 kilogram and it looks like it's in the most incredible condition. This one here, we have a 5 kilogram dryer, exactly the same model. And it's in very nice condition as well. Although, you can see there, they've either put it down too hard or someone's put something on it, I can't remember, and that's come off. Which isn't a big deal. I would be replacing that. And I got this one here, which is exactly the same. It's another 5 kilogram dryer. You can see this has been sitting in the mud. And if we look over to this side, look at the side edge. That's kind of, yeah, it's been put down too hard. That's come out. There's actually little, oh, they're not clips, but it's kind of, yeah, I can't fix that. These little tabs have broken away, so that's not a big deal. Obviously, you can get these pretty easily if you know how. It sounds like I just get dryers at the dump constantly, which I do, but to be honest, the only dryers these days that I get are the ones that I pretty much make videos of. I get most people giving me these things for free when they come and pick them up. When they come and buy one off me, they'll just bring me theirs, and it's just like a swap and go. They don't have to. But a lot of people like recycling and don't like seeing things getting pushed up. But yeah, so what's wrong with them? Let's have a look. So I just turned this one on. I know what's wrong with it. In fact, you can see I've got that plugged in. I powered it up. Let's just do it. Alright, so I've pushed in the door switch. Let's press play. Straight away, it looks like it's a good thing. It looks like it's working great, and it actually ran for probably 10 minutes, and I thought, wow, what's wrong with this thing? But if you listen, you'll hear some noises pretty soon. This actually might take a little while. I'll probably speed you up. Actually, what you'll hear is when it actually changes direction, that's when it'll probably start kicking in. And when you actually press play for the first time after it's been off, it normally takes a little while before it stops and goes in the other direction. Once that starts happening, after the first time it changing direction, it'll actually do it quite regularly. Too regularly, if you ask me. But you can hear that noise. I don't know, hopefully you can hear that noise. It's actually getting a bit louder and a bit louder till it gets to this really full-on mechanical grinding type of sound. Listen, I'm not even going to, well, listen, if it actually starts doing it while I'm talking, then awesome. But if not, I'm not going to wait. But yeah, I think this, to be honest, I have a feeling it's the bearing. I think the bearing is totally stuffed in there. It could be something else. There could be something else stuck in there. But what happens is a lot of people keep running these things. They hear this kind of squeaking or mild type of sound like you're hearing now, and they just keep running them. And a lot of the time when it gets too full on and they decide to change the bearing, by the time you actually take the back off, the axle has actually deteriorated the bearing, and there's no bearing left, and the whole bowl, the pin that goes through the bearing has actually ground a hole through the back of the dryer, and it's a write-off then, unless someone like me finds it. But yeah, you'll need an entirely new back section. So if you hear a slight squeak or something, it's the bearing. Just actually replace that. Sometimes it's the idler. It could be the idler, but yeah, I don't know. Not overly 100% sure, but what we'll do is we'll actually drop this down, we'll open her up, and we'll have a quick look and see if we can fix this. It's worth fixing. Like, look at this. This is like a brand new machine. It hasn't got a scratch on it. I love these beautiful machines that have obviously been looked after. But oh, look at this. I just noticed this. Look, they've actually, oh, someone couldn't actually read upside down. Oh, poor people. Are you kidding me? All you have to do is press the on switch and play. That's all you have to do. So what the deal? Some people are crazy. In fact, when you buy these machines, they actually, this particular Electrolux, they actually come with a second, you know, interface that is the right way up. So you can actually use that one if you're just, you know, using it upright, or if you're putting it on the wall, you'd probably use that one. But yeah, it was cool. You know, they're great. The new Electroluxes, the latest model ones that you spend all this money for, no, you can't do it. In fact, yeah, there's no sheet. It's actually all words that are actually printed straight onto the thing, so you can't swap them out. There we go. See, you can hear that. It sounds like that noise is kind of gone away now. I can still just hear something, but guaranteed when it starts going the other direction, you'll hear it. All right. So listen, I am going to try to make 2 videos at the same time. So I am just going to come up here while we wait for that other one to go the other direction, and I'm going to start my second video. Look at this. My poor little dryer. I found this one yesterday. Slim pickings yesterday. Oh man, there was nothing there. And then I was driving out and I saw this little fella halfway up the pile. Obviously, so this is, you've probably heard me say, I saved this before I got pushed by the bulldozer. I saved that before I got pushed by the bulldozer. Well, guys, this is what being pushed by the bulldozer actually looks like. So I thought I'd grab that. At the time I thought I'm just going to grab this for parts. Let's just grab some parts out of this. To be honest, I wouldn't have even done that. But, you know, listen, this is a new machine. This is the latest model machine. In fact, this is what I was talking about before. See, this is the interface on these new machines. You can't swap them out. There's no kind of paper writing insert that you can actually have the right way up or upside down. This is just like that. So the only way you're going to swap that over is if you get an entire new front section interface computer. But yeah, the things that they do to... Anyway, so look at this. It's a sad thing, isn't it? So I was just going to pull parts out of that, and then I thought, this would make an interesting video. Do you want to see if we can fix it? We could probably do that. I think I will do that. I'm going to kind of fix it. To be honest, it's going to be more like using parts out of it to just build another one. It's just, yeah, you can't do anything about the outer shell, obviously. That's well and truly foobarred. So I'm thinking maybe I'm just going to get myself an outer shell somewhere and transfer all of this stuff into the, you know, into the shell. And I think that'd be a really cool thing. Then we have to find out the reason why they threw it. They may have thrown it because the computer's stuffed. Well, that's okay because I've got other computers that we can use. They may have thrown it because the capacitor's stuffed, which is hard to believe because they're such new machines. The capacitors should last a bit longer than that, but I have seen a lot of them die. But yeah, we'll have to open her up as well and just make sure that this massive dent here, make sure that that massive dent there hasn't actually dented the bowl, which I'm pretty sure it has, but that's okay as well because I've got heaps of bowls. So we'll basically be making a new machine out of the guts of this minus the bowl and minus the minus this outer shell, which, yeah, I don't know, I might make a video of it, but I think it'll be an interesting one to see this thing come back to life, even though it's going to be made of, you know, half different parts. But anyway, that's I thought I'd just go kill some time and show you this. Let's go back and have a look at this other machine, see if anything's happened. Yeah, I'm not going to do anything in this video with that machine. I might fix it later on down the line. Alright, it's still going in the clockwise direction. Come on, just listen, I'm just going to stop you. No, I'm just going to let you run. And I'll bring you back when it starts. I'll probably fast forward it, bring you back when something happens. In fact, I am going to put my microphone on at the back here. Well, there you go. Did you hear that? It's kind of settled down a bit, but as soon as it changed direction, man, that was mechanical, all right. So I reckon, listen, it's either the bearing or it's the idler. Let's just open her up, see if we can fix it. If it is the bearing, there's a good chance the entire back of the machine is stuffed. It could have ground a hole through, you know, all the way down. But listen, if that's the case, this machine here is stuffed anyway, right? We can't fix that case, so we'll pull the back of this, stick it on there. Oh, listen to that. Something's happening in there. Yeah, we'll just pull, if the back of this machine is stuffed, if it's worn through because of the bearing, we'll just pull the back of that one off, because remember, this one can't be repaired, so we'll just get parts out of that. Hey, listen, we may even get a bearing out of that as well. I reckon we probably will. But yeah, let's actually turn these ones on and see what the problem is anyway. We might be able to fix a few of these, two at least. But that's the sound. I just wanted you to hear that sound. Let's stop that. Actually, I'll just keep you rolling. I'll keep you rolling and I will pull this off. Okay. Okay, number 2. Let's plug that in. There you go. We got a computer sound. That's good. It's already turned on. This has been pushed in. Let's hit play. Oh, there we go. Hum City. It's not turning. It is not turning, but it's humming. It's humming. Let's just stop that. Open the door. Just make sure that the bowl is spinning. Yep, the bowl moves around quite easily. So guys, I reckon this particular dryer is a classic capacitor issue. I reckon that just needs a new capacitor. I can fix that in less than 15 minutes. We'll put a brand new capacitor in there and we'll have almost a new dryer. Oh, and plus we'll actually replace this. So what do you say we pull that computer, that interface there off there, and stick it on that one? Anyway, actually, let's actually turn this one on, even though it's, you know, split open at the side. That's not going to be a problem. Let's plug this one in now. All right, we got some tunes. Let's have a look. So let's push this door switch in and hit play. Oh, there you go. It's taken off. It's turning. But honestly, did you hear that? It actually took a little while. To you guys, it may not seem like it took a little while, but to me, that kind of sounded like it was a bit struggling to get going. In fact, I do have some washing here, some wet washing. I was about to stick it in this dryer here. I might actually stick it in this dryer here, because I've said it before, when you actually put washing in dryers, even though this might be turning now, it may not turn with the washing in there. So let's actually stop that and throw this washing in and see if it still turns. It didn't seem that powerful to me, but yeah, it's taken off okay. Well, I don't know. The thing is, I'm gonna, if that case was okay and I was to fix it, I'd be replacing the capacitor anyway. These dryers, I actually always sell them with new capacitors. So they're basically as good as they were when they left the shop. I clean them out and I put fresh capacitors in them, regardless whether they're working or not. So what I'm going to do is we're probably just going to pull this one apart for parts. Let's open this one up and see what's going on with this. This is just a capacitor issue. I'm not going to do anything with that. That's just going to take up time in this video. But this one here is worth investigating. We'll have a look, see what the deal is. We'll try and do that on this driveway, which is very steep. So I'm just going to set you on this dryer. And oh man, that looks like it's going to fall off. Listen, I'll set you guys up and I'll be back in a sec. Alright, so I'm setting myself up. I've got my cushion, so we want to open this one up. So I'm going to face plant this to the ground. That's what the cushion's for. I'll just show you. If you want to open one of these things up, all you really need is a shifter, a 1/4 inch hex bit if you want to make it faster for yourself. Otherwise you can use the shifter. And we need a Phillips head. So that's what we got there. Some attachments for my driver. So what I might do is just set you here. See if we can angle you down without you falling down. And I am just going to face plant you down there. Oh, look at this. I didn't even notice this. Check this out. Now, this is what kills dryers, guys. These air vents. This is where the air's supposed to get sucked in. This is where all the air gets into your dryer. Look at that. It's just completely blocked. There's a couple of tiniest little slits. So, look, that's just... yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I don't know what people's houses are like. All that dust. I'd hate to go into some people's houses after looking at their dryers. They must be just dusty and dirty. But anyway, let's start pulling you apart. Probably time-lapse this. First of all, I'll just get rid of this screw. Phillips head. That's all you need the Phillips head for. Get your hex bit on there. These things only cost $4 or $5 at Bunnings. It's worth getting. Alright, so actually before I do anything more, let me just grab a screwdriver, just a flat blade, just use anything, because I'm going to want to take you need to take this off. So this is the exhaust. You can either have the air exhausting out the back or out the front. This one's obviously exhausting out the front. But let's pull this off. I'm a bit scared to do that because looking at all of this, you know, clogginess of this dust, I reckon this is going to be pretty impressive as well. Hang on. Actually, it wasn't as impressive as I thought it would be. That's actually pretty standard, to be honest with you. But look at that. They've obviously owned a dog with really long hair. So, yeah, we're going to have to clean this dryer out anyway. So, alright, so if this is what I'm thinking, if the bearing is completely stuffed and deteriorated and destroying this back, you'll be able to tell just by taking this shroud off. But I could be wrong. And I'm not wrong, of course I'm right. Alright, so check this out. This is exactly what I was thinking. Now have a look at this. Oh, first of all, look how dirty it is. Look at all of that. What do people do with these things? Okay, so look at this. So that's our bearing. That's where our bearing is. The bearing has deteriorated. It's basically not there. It's been worn away. And it's worn away so much. Oops, hang on. My gimbal just died. Going on too much of an angle. It's been worn away so much that this bowl has probably just fallen down and it started kind of eating away at this back. So this entire back is stuffed. It has to be replaced. So I'll tell you now, we will be grabbing that back off that dryer up there. In fact, I just noticed this thing here this is broken off. This is where your lead gets wrapped around when you're moving them. For me, it's a big deal. For people who buy them, they don't really use that because they just hook them up and just leave them. But you can see here, this one has a good one. So we'll be pulling the back off that and sticking it on here. But I have a feeling it's not going to be that simple because of the way this has been treated. I mean, I'm going to have to take this off and really clean it out because I can't sell stuff, you know, that is, well, a lot of people do, but I can't. Oh, in fact, look at this. I think this fell off when I was pulling that back off. Check this out. Oh, look at that. Ugh, yuck. Pull that out of the thing. That's what I was expecting. Ah, shit, eh? All right. So I am going to, actually I can pull this back off straight away. I'm just going to take that nut off. I'll just put this fluff in the bin. The sound of a wheelie bin lid. It's so obvious, isn't it? You can hear it. You can tell what it is. Anyway, all right, let's just take this off. I'll give you another quick look. Ah, look at that. Now, my gimbal's been giving me problems lately if I do that. So look at this. So look at that. The bearing, you can actually see the case of the bearing is underneath the actual bearing itself. So it's more like this hole here is supposed to be small, right? You'll see it on the fresh one, but that has been ground away, which means you can stick a new bearing in there, but it's not going to do anything. It's just going to die. This is stuffed. It's not going to hold the bearing. So we have to replace this back. So I am just going to, I know this isn't, I'll see if I can angle this dryer up a bit better. Is that better? I don't know. It might work. All right, so I'm just going to pull this off. Now we'll just disconnect the heater. Okay, so the heater's disconnected, the element's disconnected. Look at that! So that's the heater. What the hell? Have they not been using a filter or something? Man, like I've said in previous videos that when you smell a little bit of a burning smell, not to worry about it too much because it's just a little bit of, you know, a little bit of fluff or a little bit of lint. That's nuts. I've never seen one. Well, yeah, I think I may have seen one that's the same as that. But that will catch, that, you know, it can catch fire, but nothing else is going to catch fire. It'll just sizzle away and burn away, but that's crazy. In fact, I'm just going to throw this entire part out. I'm not even going to worry about keeping that heater because I've got probably, I don't know, 20 of them. So, probably more. So, well, I will keep this because I need some of these. That's just that just kind of cushions it. But look at this side. There you go. Look at that. In fact, let me just open that up. Just for so there's 3 screws here. This is if you were to actually just replace the bearing. All you would do is just take these 3 screws off, put the new bearing in, and put them back on again. All right. So I think part of that bearing just fell through the hole. Look at that. There we go, that's part of your bearing. You can see a little ball bearing just sitting there. But I think, let me just get rid of this. I'll just throw this over here. That's going straight to the dump. Okay, this is the rest of the bearing. There's that other piece. Yeah, you can see. You can kind of, that'll join in there. And this is the inner circle. What do they call this part? Is that called the race? I'm not sure. But yeah, that goes in there and all your bearings go around there. So let's just make sure we collect all of these little ball bearings. I hate putting stuff back together and you start moving it and you can hear stuff move, you know, rolling around. All right, so listen. I am just going to clean this entire thing out. To be honest, you know what the easiest thing to do is when it's like this, is actually get the blower. And that's what I'm going to do. My neighbour's gone, he's not home. He's a shift worker, so I'm not going to bother him. But I'm going to pull this entire bowl out. We'll have a look at this idler. Actually, we'll do that now, very quickly. Okay, I've shown you this in other videos before, but I'll just do it again. Now, if you want to replace the belt or change the belt, you have to get to this stage basically. Can you see here, past all of this dust and crap, there's a spring. It's a tension spring. So basically you just want to unhook that and push this motor back like that, and that'll just take the tension off the belt. And you can kind of pull the belt off. There we go. And to be honest, that belt looks pretty sweet. There's nothing wrong with that belt. But what I like to do anyway, when I'm just testing a belt, is have it in my hand like this and just check for burrs going through, and I can't feel any, so we'll be reusing that. Okay, so let's just pull this drum out. Man, that's dirty. Let's have a look over here. Ah, yuck. Okay, I think I'm just going to sit this up. I'm actually just going to get the blower. I used to like get rags and vacuum cleaners and stuff, but blowers are much better. Alright, so let's have a quick look at this. This is the idler. Now these things die constantly. These things are one of the biggest parts that die in a dryer. People think that because their belt snapped that it's the belt, but normally it's because of this idler. These idlers crack, and when the belts go around them, the sharp edges basically wreck your belt. So most of the time when you have to replace a belt because it snapped, it's because this idler stuff, so you have to replace this as well. So let's just stick that in there. I'm going to replace that capacitor down there. Even though it works fine, I'm just going to replace it because these are good machines. I do sell them a little bit more than what I'd sell just a manual 4 kilogram dryer for. So I always put brand new capacitors in them, and they're just like, you know, once I've finished with them, they're like, you know, the day they got sold. All right, I'll be back in a sec with my blower. All right. All right, let's make it snow. I'll just go and grab a capacitor. All right, so we got a brand new capacitor here. Getting the light, you might see that. These Electrolux dryers are exactly the same as Westinghouse and Simpson dryers. They take an 8 microfarad capacitor. So that's a capacitor down there. I'm just going to pull that out and swap it over with this. I'll see if I can do that in one hit. I've never actually done it while it's been sitting up like this before, but let's see if we can do it. You can't even see what I'm doing, so first we'll just pull these wires off the terminal. Actually we can just twist it around. I'll twist it around there. Yeah, this is going to be very easy. Alright, so you can use the nut that comes with them. I don't normally use the nut because I'm normally doing it when they're facing downwards like it was before. What I normally do to replace a capacitor is I actually just put my fingers there, grab the capacitor. I'm basically just holding the nut, right? And I'll just twist the capacitor and I'll hold the nut and keep the nut on there because that's more difficult. That's probably the most difficult part, is to line the nut up. But if you're still holding it, you can just grab your other one. That was our dead one. This is our new one. You can just start screwing that in. Alright. Now, basically, I normally just grab a shifter. Where did I put my shifters? Alright. Normally grab a shifter and tighten that up, but that's because at the moment there's no bowl in there, and this is on it's actually quite easy using a shifter. Normally you can't use a shifter when the capacitor is pointing down that way. And I'll show you the only thing that I ever use to do it are these like ratchet spanners. I like these ones because they angle. So just imagine this was still facing downwards. I would just grab this spanner. I think it's the right spanner. There you go. And then I can tighten her up. There you go. Take that off. That's never coming off. We'll stick these, just twist this back a little bit. Put these wires on the terminal. Just make sure these particular capacitors have 4 terminals. So just make sure you put, so this terminal here is actually just 1 terminal, I should say, but they have 4 pins, 4 terminals, but there's 2 per terminal. So make sure you just don't put both wires on the same one. It's not going to work. You have to put one on this side and one on that side, and it doesn't matter what one they go on. Alright, so that's a new capacitor. Let's throw this in with the old crappy capacitor. Actually, no, I'm not. I am going to hold on to that. That still works. That actually still works. So I am just going to leave that here just in case of an emergency. And I've got some of those cheaper 4 kilogram Simpsons. If I need a capacitor, listen, I've got like tons of them. I should just throw it. But check this out. This is my bin full of dead capacitors. Look what happens. That's burst. Look at this one. This is just a few. I've thrown most of them out. Yeah, look at that. Honestly, when you find capacitors like this, I think that is caused by lightning strikes. Yeah, and the only reason I say that is I've just recently had a mate who I gave a dryer to his mum, and he said a lightning strike just killed it. I gave it to her with a brand new capacitor in it, and when I grabbed it to see what was wrong, this was basically all of this, what's it called? Is it Electrolux? I can't remember. This stuff was, yeah, it was a really pretty one. It was like a Christmas tree. It came out and it was swirling up. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's either a power strike or an electrical a lightning strike will do that. Most of the time they just look the same as they did when they go in. So this one's stuffed. But that's a bit of a lesson there. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly put the bowl back in here, which means I've got to set you back up here. And this is clean. This is amazingly clean now. This is as clean as it probably was when it was sold. Don't know if you had a really good look in there. Yeah, that blower thing trick is really cool. All right. In fact, let me just. Might just go and grab a brush. In fact, no, I'm not going to grab a brush. I couldn't be bothered. I might just grab the blower and blow that off. That'll do. All right, so this should just drop in here. In fact, I'm just going to set you back here, line it up. There we go. just spin it nicely. Okay, so I'm just going to grab my belt now. I'm not going to walk you through this too much. There's heaps of videos of me putting these belts back on. But basically, you just want to kind of drop it over the side. If you have a look at the side of the dryer, there's still dust on the dryer and you can see the wear mark through the dust where the belt was before. Just bring it down to that line level. And make sure your idler is pushed back towards that wall. Put the belt over the motor, and then what we do is grab that spring and pull the tension on. So we're pulling the idler into it, and there you go, belt on. You couldn't see any of that, but I have videos of me doing that. So now, once it's on like that, you can't just stick it back together. You kind of want to turn this around and let the belt settle into a nice rhythm. That's looking nice. Just spin it a few times. All right. But remember, they stop and they go the other direction as well. Sometimes the idler will lift up or the belt will lift up, but it's designed to do that. In fact, guys, I'm thinking I just saw something on this idler. I might actually replace this idler, and I'll show you what I saw. I'm just going to pull it out again. It feels and looks really good. Just grab this, pull that belt up. Let me just go in the sun. I'll show you this. Can you see there's a crack in it? I don't know if you can see that. See down there? There's actually a hairline crack that goes from here all the way down to the base. I can't recall, I don't think that's part of this. I'm just going to go and grab another idler because honestly that may not last very long once I put it back in. So I'm just going to go and grab another idler and just check that that's not the same. So give us 2 secs. In fact, change of plan. I'm not going to go and grab another idler because we probably have a good idler in this machine here, remember? So we're going to pull this apart now because we need the back of this machine and the bearing to stick on this machine. So we may as well grab the idler at the same time. So let's just drop this machine. First of all, I'm just going to pull this wet washing out. Alright. Now, I'm going to lay this face down like the other one. Let me just, I can't really see what I'm doing here. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to pull the computer off, the entire front interface. Before I do that, while you're down there, I might just take the door off as well, because I'm going to keep the door. I like keeping the doors. Alright. 2. Now, I'll just bring you back up here and just show you how I disconnect these. If you ever want to put a new computer in. So, excuse me. Basically, obviously you make sure this is unplugged. So you just pull the main switch wires off. Then you've got this, which I think it's an earth wire. We've got, it's basically just unplug everything. And we want to take this main harness plug off. So there you go. So this is good. This is a good computer. Excuse me. So I think they sell these for about 150 bucks on eBay. So we'll be holding on to that for sure. I think we'll throw the rest of this out. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Yeah, we'll throw the rest of this, the housing out, because I just noticed it's got a crack there. Not a big deal. But yeah, so I'm just going to put this aside. That's what it looks like now. We'll actually just put the harness, the rest of the wires back in there, because what I'm also going to do, I'm just going to treat this as if I'm getting the parts off this machine now, all of them, because one thing to have are the inner shrouds. The entire metal, the inner section, the plastic section, this here that holds the bowl on and all that, they deteriorate. So I like replacing those. I don't think anyone else would ever replace those. I do. So that's your door switch there. So let's leave that there. Alright. So that should be right. So we should be able to lay this flat down now, face down, and pull some parts off it. Alright. I'm just going to fast forward me getting into this thing. You guys are pros by now. Now I'm finding it a little bit difficult to get my hex bit over this particular screw, and that's because, remember, it was put down pretty hard. So what I'll just do is I'm just going to wedge this screw out a bit, see if we can clear that. That should do it. See if we can get it over now. Alright. So let's just take this shroud back cover off. Ah, looks beautiful compared to the other one. So I'll just grab a shifter, take the bearing nut off. Beautiful. Now I'll show you exactly what it should look like. There you go, that's what it should look like. See, our other one was all eaten around, that was all gone. Big hole there, so that's what it should look like, so that's a good thing. I'll just set you back down here. Alright, let's just pull this off now. Oh, missed one. Disconnect the element, the heater. Excuse me. And we have one really good back, which we will use on that other dryer. Now the rest of this I might just quickly pull apart. Let's grab the idler for a start. Let's have a look at this belt. This belt is perfect, so that's a good part, which saves us 25 bucks. Let's have a look at this idler. That idler is perfect. Yeah, there's no cracks or anything in there. Glad I saw that other one. So that's what we'll use. Sorry, just get in the sun maybe. That's better. Yep, so that's good. This one here that had the crack in it, now that can go in the bin. So let's get back to this machine. We should be able to finish her off now. Just going to put this idler. When you put these idlers on, always make sure that this part here, it's got like a nylon part to it, goes face down. Don't put that part down. Well, that's how they come off anyway. So stick that downwards. You can buy these on eBay. I think they're about 20 bucks, 25 bucks. I hate them. I don't like them. I will never use them. But for you guys, you know, regular people that don't have access to second-hand parts, they're probably good. Otherwise, they wouldn't sell them. Let's just stick this belt on. Yeah, they just feel cheap and flimsy and crappy. I don't like them. All right, so I'm just kind of bringing this belt down to the dust mark on the bowl again, putting it around the motor and pulling the tension on. And then I'm just going to turn this. All right, and remember the other way as well. And that's perfect. Let's just keep going. It just moved slightly then. Yeah, I'm happy with that. All right, so where's the back? We want our new back. Let's just make sure it's nice and clean first. Look at that. That's what it should look like, the heater. Nice clean one. You see through it. I'm pretty happy with that. That looks actually perfect. So I am just going to angle you down again. So what I'll do just quickly is, I don't know if you can see this, but this part of the felt that rubs onto the bowl, they all normally lift up like this. So I just like to, they're spring loaded, there's a spring that holds these on, so I just like to kind of pull them out and tuck them back down. All the way back here. That's how they should be. It doesn't really matter if you don't do that. All right, looking good. Let's pop it back on. Before I do that, I don't know how far up you can see. I just want to check the bearing. Just put my finger there. Oh, it's like I bought one. Not a single bit of grinding or, yeah, it's just perfect. So that's great. So let's put this back on here. Remember, we have to plug in the, we have to plug back the heater, the element. All right, done. We need to get our power cord, slide it up in there. Then I just grab the pin of the back of the drum, stick it through the bearing like that. Just make sure the exhaust pipe inside marries up with this back. All right, looking good. So before I actually button the whole thing up, I will normally just put one screw in each corner and I'll run it for a couple of minutes. It's nothing worse than putting everything back together, running it, and the belt's not on properly. You have to take everything off again. So we'll do that, and we'll also actually put the bearing nut back on. So with the bearing nut, you have a big flat washer that goes on first, and then you have a lock washer that goes on next. and then your nut. You don't have to tighten it incredibly, just give it a snug kind of tighten up like this. That's all you need to do. And what we will do now is I will set you over here. We'll stand this dryer up. And run it. Alright, so that's turned on. Let's just press play. Let's just let that run for a little bit. Sounds a little bit loud. That's only because the we still haven't actually put that cover on the back there. So it does sound a little bit loud, but that's just normal. Alright, so I'm just going to let that run for say 5 minutes and then I'll put the back on. Oh. Okay, there you go. So this machine here is working great. So I'm just going to stop that and turn it off. But you may have noticed that while I was just testing that in a few minutes, I replaced the main capacitor out of this second machine. So that's a cool thing, that's done. The only thing I need to do now is replace this, because you can see here this has busted. So I went downstairs and I found another one. We'll be able to clean that up and it'll look brand new. So I'm not going to do that on the video, but what I will do just quickly is turn this on. Just test it, make sure that capacitor's working nice. There you go. Working great. And that other machine that we got all the parts from, the busted one, so we have that bowl. These are the parts that the other parts I pulled out. We've got a bowl. So that bowl, remember that sad looking dryer in the back of the car that was all dented? That bowl might be able to, if the bowl is dented out of that dryer, we might be able to use that to build another dryer. Got an inner shroud that, you know, the entire guts. We got the motor and the computer, everything there works. The belt is great. So it's a cool thing. So we got some parts. The outer shell, I've already stuck that in my car. That's going back to the dump. So basically, in the space of what, that probably took an hour, I've fixed 2 dryers before breakfast. Speaking of which, I'm going to go and have some breakfast now. I want to thank you for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.